So here we go, man. Rivolta Combinata with the Les Trem. Man, wow. Right? I mean, right? That's a beautiful guitar.
Well, we're gonna, na, 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 na. Say it again now.
I haven't seen too many of these things show up on YouTube for reviews. I don't know if that's because they don't make and therefore don't sell a ton of them, so they're not really saturated through the market, or just because RJ Ronquillo did a demo for Eastwood, and really, what more do you need than that? That's what sold me. I'll be honest with you. I made a list of a handful of kind of over a grand guitar, well under 1,500 guitars that I really liked, and I saw his video demoing this guitar, and pretty much within about 3 minutes, it was ordered. So, hats off. He's an incredible player. Follow him. Check out his channel. Lots of great, useful information. Anyway, man. Friends, I could sum this up really fast for you. This is a beautiful guitar, and I'm very happy that I put down my hard-earned cash. I've kind of tried to be a champion for budget guitars, and so spending $1,200–$1,400 on a guitar is A, not a usual thing for me, and B, kind of seems to go against the grain of this channel anyway, for whatever that's worth. But I'll put it this way. This is the low budget version of high-end guitars. How about that? How about we put it that way? Then it makes sense in context, right? I'll put the specs up. You can get them on the site for the most part. Mahogany and ebony and beautiful and old and new all at the same time. Here's the thing, y'all. It's like driving a Cadillac. Pretty much, you know when you pick it up that it is a more luxury item. You can tell that just by looking at the thing. The design is fantastic, in my opinion. If you don't like it, obviously, you're probably not going to be looking at this guitar. But for me, it's kind of this super groovy juxtaposition of something from the 50s, 60s, and the 2040s. I don't know. It's just this cool thing. I generally I gravitate towards relic instruments or just old instruments that have actually been played. I love the feel of those. I love the look of those. That hasn't changed at all. That's probably still my go-to thing. But I got to say, I love the way this thing looks. It makes me want to pick it up and play it. It's beautifully made. I haven't found a single flaw in the finish or the fit. If I have to nitpick, if that's my job. So this is new to me. This Les Trem is new to me. The Les Trem. I don't know how they say it, but essentially it's kind of a retrofit for anything that has a tunematic style bridge. There's no drilling, no maiming required. But inside this spring, there's a nut and a screw that attaches to this piece, and that controls the tension of the swing of the arm, which is a pretty important part of things. In order to get to that, you have to loosen this nut all the way as the guitar goes out of tune. You do that, so it's kind of a thing. You're not going to do this on the fly. And so if I have to nitpick, that's something that's not terribly convenient for a player. That said, I've said it once, and I haven't had to touch it since. It's been great. Of course, I've had the guitar for a week or so. We'll see what it's like in a month, in a year, but I do like the functionality of it. Yeah, I think it's a really cool, very smooth trim, and I really enjoy playing it. So, yeah, that's my nitpick. What I don't think there's anything else I can really nitpick about. I haven't taken it apart. I'm not gonna. I won't go quite as in depth as I do on some other guitars, just because, frankly, I'm just not ready for that yet. I'm not ready to take that plunge. But rest assured, these are all quality components. The pickups are designed by Dennis Fano. He spec'd them out. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I'm guessing, output, the wind, and all that good stuff. They sound great. I'm a tinkerer. Eventually, I may put lullers in this. The Luller 50s wine P90s are they work for me on so many different levels, and it'd be interesting to see how these stack up against those. From my personal taste, I may replace these silver covers with black covers. The silver definitely goes with the whole aesthetic of the guitar, and is pretty cool. And I don't hate it by any means, but I like to see what it looks like with the black on there. Maybe a little bit more classic, a little bit more throwback, which I dig. Yeah, man, it's just a super cool instrument. So I'm gushing. It's killer. If you're watching this video, if this design speaks to you and calls your name, man, I'm pretty stoked so far. Some more kind of anecdotal type things and preference type things. The size of the body is great for me. It's a little bit bigger than like a Strat or a Tele, and a little smaller than a 335. Probably around the size of maybe this part of the bout anyway. The 339s, I want to say, that Gibson maybe Epiphone had out for a while. And but it's super comfortable. It's a chambered body, so it's not nearly as heavy as you might think when you look at this thing, as if you were thinking that it was a full solid body. I'll put the weight of this exact one. Kudos to Mr. Fano and to Eastwood Guitars for teaming up and doing this thing right. At this price point, $1,200, $1,300, I think they have a beautiful line of guitars that is somewhat more accessible than Novo and even a used Fano at this point. So I would love one of those one day. So this guitar is dipped in poly. It is a mirror, beautifully done, kind of a sparkle-ish metallic finish, which doesn't show up all that well in video, sorry. But if you just can't deal with poly, then you're probably not going to love this guitar. If I wrote my preferences down on a piece of paper, it would definitely be that there's no finish on the neck, or just a really light satin finish on the neck. This is full-on dipped in poly all the way through. So, that's what it is. It's one of the ways I'm sure that they save cost. If they were to finish this thing by hand, it would be a lot more expensive. That being said, if you can deal with that, it's gorgeous. It is what it is. It fits the aesthetic of the rest of the guitar. So I'll just move along from that. So I love P90s. I think probably overall my favorite pickup. Within the scope of what I do, I think they're the most versatile pickup. I'll just play a little bit, running guitar through an Apollo interface into Logic, where I've got Helix Native on it. First patch is kind of probably the cleanest thing I would do on this guitar. It's not as clean as what I might set up for a Tele. This is a matchless channel 1 in Helix, the matchstick, they call it. That was neck, so we'll go to bridge, and it's just this disgustingly raunchy, beautiful sound that's, it's a bridge sound. It's not completely unlike a Tele bridge, but the high end is rolled off somewhat. There's a different focus in that high mid-range. Makes you want chicken pick. I find myself using the bridge position with P90s way more than anything else for what I do and what I like to hear. But the body of that neck position is just beautiful. I really like it. P90 pickups in general respond really well to changes in volume and tone, but just for the purposes of the video and keeping everything kind of even and across the board, everything's wide open here. So this is middle position, and I'll do some kind of aggressive kind of funk stuff like I've been doing. So there is a chime in that, like a high-end thing that neither the bridge by itself or the neck by itself have, and that is cool. I don't know if I would reach for this guitar if I was in the studio and that's the sound I was looking for, that in between, you know, maybe some frequencies are out of phase kind of thing. I'd probably still reach for a Strat. And my guess is if I change the height on these pickups even slightly, that would really change that middle position. And it's not bad at all. I mean, there's nothing bad about anything this guitar can put out, aside from, you know, what my fingers do. But I don't want to change the position of these two pickups, the height, because I love those individual sounds so much. Right? Anyway, so I just wanted to play some of that. That's, again, this Helix patch that is probably the cleanest thing that I would do on most P90s. I say that because, for me, P90s have this emphasis in the mid-range, good ones anyway, that just call out for a little overdrive, I guess, for lack of a better word. It wants to give you some harmonics, some harmonics on the fundamentals. So I'm going to go to a different patch. This is the Tweed Deluxe patch from Rhett Shull's latest Helix pack. It has his IRs on it, and he is using, let's see here, the Fullerton Bright channel. And this has quite a bit less high end than that last patch, but there's just some really cool stuff in the mid-range, so I'll just play some single note. So we're talking about a little more gain overall, and then when you dig into some chord stuff, that's when it starts to get really cool with these P90s and this guitar in general. Just chewy. That's my go-to adjective for this. Is just chewy. Let me go through. I'll do some. I'll do like some arpeggio stuff in each position with this patch. Middle. And the bridge. I don't want to make this too long. I know I'm gushing, but probably played more guitar in the last week than I have in the last year, to be honest with you, just because it's so fun to play. These guitars are made in South Korea, and then they send them to the Novo offices where they get their final inspection and setup. And you know, that is worth at least part of the cost of this guitar. Anytime that you can get a pro to do that final inspection and setup in particular, that's worth your money, especially if you're not someone who is inclined to do that sort of thing yourself. I got the guitar. The action was set a little high for where I wanted it with my strings. I did replace the strings pretty quickly. I do that no matter what the guitar costs or where it came from. And when I did that, I lowered the action just a hair, and it didn't care. It was fine with that. No weirdnesses, no buzzes, no dead spots. So if you love this design, obviously the design is a big part of kind of the guitar culture with Dennis Fano and Novo guitars, and now with Rivoltas, and so obviously you've got to be into that before you would buy this. There are other guitars that are probably in this neighborhood in terms of cost, maybe slightly even less expensive, that will probably get you to a place of quality that are very similar to this. I have an Ibanez, I think it's the AM93, if I'm not mistaken. And that guitar, I think, cost me $800 or so dollars. And I'd say, in terms of just the general quality, it's pretty close to this. I don't think it's anywhere close to it in terms of the design and just the cool factor. And I like this body shape, the way that it's balanced when it's on a strap. And, of course, this Les Trem, which is a different thing than any other guitar I have. Really, I have a couple trims set up on some Strats, obviously, and I've had some Bigsby's, but I didn't really use them. I couldn't get them to stay in tune all that well. Some folks who have a lot more experience probably have the patience to spend the time and get those right, but I never could get it where I wanted it. And this, so far anyway, we'll see, down the road if it stays that way. But so far, I really like. In use, I like this thing. So I think that's kind of it, man. Let me know again if you have questions. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that mess. And I'll be back with you soon. I do have something for the more budget minded folks out there coming very shortly that I'm pretty excited about. And until then, happy playing.